Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. We're now talking hospice with Susan and Hannah with Central Wyoming Hospice and Transitions. Ladies, how are we doing today?
Very well. Thanks for having us, Billy.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Now, Hannah, I want to start with you.
Sure.
How do you start the conversation of hospice? And when you talk hospice, does that essentially mean giving up hope?
That is a great question, and one that lots of people have. So when we're ready to start to think about hospice, it's when we have a loved one or ourselves who has been, say, in and out of the hospital many times in the last year for the same thing.
Okay.
And you're getting to where it just doesn't seem like that is how you want to spend those months. What we can do in hospice is help you manage those chronic conditions at home.
Sure.
And not be in and out of the hospital. So that there's a lot that we can do to manage chronic conditions at home. And really turn our focus from hoping for a cure for a chronic condition that we know doesn't have a cure.
Right.
We switch what we're hoping for to hoping for comfort, dignity, peace, quiet, and loving time with our family instead of, like I said, being in and out of the hospital.
Absolutely.
It really is a quality of life
Right.
issue. When you look forward from that, are you weary of going in
Sure.
and out of the hospital, of going in and out from the doctors when you know that at the end of it, there is no cure for this?
Right.
So it's, as Hannah says, a switch of focus and say, how do I want to spend these last months? Do I want to spend it in comfort? Do I want to have more time with my family? Do I want to go take a fishing trip?
Sure.
You know, what are, those sorts of things. So it's a quality of life issue. It's not giving up hope.
It seems like you keep it as peaceful and positive as possible.
Of course.
Which is
Absolutely.
phenomenal. And, Susan, with, these adults, older adults, they're taking these medications, obviously. When they go on hospice services, do they continue with those medications? Do they give them up? How do you guys handle it?
Yeah, and that's one of the big misconceptions. They think if you go on hospice services, you just cut all the medications, and that absolutely isn't true. The case managers the nurses will go through and work with your physician to look and see what it is that is allowing you comfort. And tweak those medications. Really what hospice is, it's a shift from trying to be cured and curative treatment.
Okay.
So Hannah, being the nurse specialist, can probably speak a little better to that too.
Yeah, so it's I don't want to get too much in the details about what medications, but we look at each medication and we say, is this medication making me feel better today? Or is this medication more work for my body to metabolize?
Sure.
And not making me feel any better?
That makes sense.
So we do shift medications, but it doesn't mean we stop everything.
That makes total sense. Now, does hospice hasten death, would you say?
Definitely not. Definitely not. There are even some studies that show that it can lengthen it because
Oh,
people
cool.
come on hospice and they get so much attention from our team. They feel better. They're getting the kind and gentle attention that they've needed for a long time. So a lot of times people come on hospice, feel a lot better for a while before they decline going forward.
Absolutely. Now, would you say there's a time limit on hospice, Susan, or are you guys welcome and people should explore it whenever?
They should explore it whenever. And one of the big things we talk about is that we would love to see people come on services sooner rather than later, not wait until they're in a crisis situation the last few days of their life. To be eligible for hospice, you need to have a physician say, if your current disease process continues on its natural course, you have a prognosis of 6 months or less. Well, we all know that prognostication is kind of a, sort of thing.
Sure.
So when you hit 6 months, it's not like, hey, you're off services. There's a recertification process.
Right.
We take a look at how you're doing. Some people actually get better and then graduate from hospice.
Beautiful.
And if you want to leave hospice services, you can do that at any time. If you have found a new treatment that you want to start, you can do that at any time and leave hospice services and then come back on if you choose to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not like a 6-month hard limit and then you're out.
Right.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for touching on all the misconceptions. I'm sure there are so many more that eventually we can hit on later on in the future.
Of course.
If you are willing to come back and join us on the show,
We'd love
course.
to.
we got the official word. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Central Wyoming Hospice and Transitions, covering all the misconceptions of hospice right here on the program. And we'll be right back.